Yo, what's going on? After a much needed hiatus, man, we are back. Thanksgiving, appearing on the other pods, all that good stuff. But we are back after 3 weeks. And what better time to come back than when the last time is really now?
Yeah.
This is episode 26, or as I like to call it, John Cena, and John Cena. I am one half of the greatest tag team in the world, Chris, known as Southside Woodall on Twitter, and of course my tag team partner.
It's your boy Barry. You can't hold us back. You can't push us back, man. You just can't do it. No,
Can't do it, man.
No pink slip. I ain't letting none give. It's been a while. We're gonna miss this episode. We're gonna let none hold us back.
Absolutely not. I made a sacrifice today, man. As we are filming, AEW is in Atlanta, more specifically College Park, which is like 15 minutes away from my house. And I very badly wanted to see Samoa Joe versus Eddie Kingston tonight. But like I said, man, it's about John Cena this week, man.
Yeah, I want business for nothing.
Yeah, they'll be back. I mean, they'll be back sometime within 2026.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. I know all the OGs are retiring. I really hope I get to see a Samoa Joe match live before he hangs it up. But yeah, man, today is obviously, I feel like it is obvious. I told you, John Cena. Today's episode is going to be heavily centered around John Cena. We're going to talk about the tournament because we really weren't here for most of it. We're going to talk some of our favorite moments. What else did I put in the notes here? Winner of the tournament, moments. We're gonna touch a little bit on SmackDown and Raw, but we might not. Like, if we just go an hour 30, 2 hours talking about John Cena, brother, and that's just what it's gonna be. That is what he deserves. He has given us 20 plus years. And next week, obviously, we'll still touch on John Cena, but it won't be as heavy. But this week, it's a John Cena episode, so stay locked, stay tuned. But before we get into that, did want to touch on some stuff. First off, condolences to CM Punk and AJ Lee in their loss of Larry the Dog. Terrible loss. I was so sick when I saw that. I was like, man, it feels weird to say about a pet. Some of us have pets. I have pets, but it feels weird to say about a pet. But Larry was so over universally known, and we would always see him running around the ring and coming to shows and stuff. So when that hit, it felt like it just felt like, bro, that's not what I expected to hear today. Why is this happening? What's going on? It kind of made more sense of if you saw the Survivor Series entrance in the War Games. CM Punk had the jacket and said Larry's dad on it, and he was clutching it real tight. And obviously in the moment you think nothing of it.
Yeah.
But we find out that Tuesday that Larry passed, and just damn, he knowing what Larry means to that family in particular, it was just kind of damn, he was obviously really hurting and worked through it.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely thoughts and prayers to him and AJ as well. Wanted to give a shout out to Bailey, man. So Bailey put together I think they're calling it a seminar / wrestling camp called Lodestone, Lodestone, Lodestone. Comprised of just different independent wrestlers, indie wrestlers, etc. All women, by the way. I think I want to say it was a 3-day camp. Different superstars came and gave their feedback. Notably, John Cena stayed there for 8 hours and watched every single match in the seminar, start to end. Gave everybody notes. Thought that was really cool. Natalya, Charlotte Flair, I believe they said Bianca Belair was there.
Yeah, I saw Bianca there.
Yeah, so huge shout out to Bailey.
Izzy, the girl, she was a huge fan of her NXT.
Yeah, they got
the lace over just a little bit.
Yeah, man.
Full circle them right there. If you know, you know.
Yeah, I am a huge proponent of giving back to the businesses that I guess gave a lot to you. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Bailey really did a great job of just paying it forward. It's something I think we talked about this, a couple episodes ago when we were talking about John Cena and how Saturday night's main event is going down now as opposed to how it could have. And just the idea of some people do things that they don't necessarily have to. A lot of famous people, celebrities, athletes. Everybody doesn't always give back. Sometimes the money is enough, and they feel like the business has done what it's supposed to do for them. They don't have to necessarily pay it forward. As we talk about often, also wrestling is a selfish business. Like some people used to gatekeep it. People don't always want to tell you how to get your start. Blah blah blah. Kudos to Bayley for really providing that opportunity for those women. And I hope to see them on a stage, whether that's WWE, AEW, TNA, somewhere. And I hope that when that happens, that Bayley can reflect and receive her flowers for doing that, as she is now. But I really hope that's there in the future. We are going to recap the Last Time Is Now tournament. I'm going to pull up the bracket because I do not have all the matches memorized. But while I'm doing that, did you want to kind of just give your thoughts on the tournament, the idea of the tournament overall, how you thought it went?
Off rip, I thought it was a very good idea. Somebody mentioned this a while ago. There should be like a tournament, not just you just throw somebody randomly out there to fight John Cena on his last match. I think this was a cool idea. I like how they part people who have chemistry or history with John Cena, like Rusev. Sheamus was in the tournament. I'm trying to think who else was in there. Oh, I guess Dolph Ziggler and what's his name? Zack Ryder. Yeah. Him being there. He's like, you kind of show off some new talent as well, like Carmelo, Penta. Oh, then Solo. Solo has some history back and forth a couple years ago. So I think it was kind of cool. Great idea. I'm not too mad at Gunther being the winner of the tournament. I feel like it's a good way. This is like Gunther's persona. He hates the old regime of wrestling, professional wrestling. He doesn't like how it is. So this is like a cool way to, I guess, carry on his character, probably shed some light to what he does in the ring. So overall, I give it a B. You know what I'm saying? It could have been better. Could have been a lot worse. So we're going to take what we got because, it has been some skeptical creative decisions lately. So we're going to accept this how they did. I think it was a good job. They got the right good matches, and excited to see what happens on Saturday, man. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. So
yeah, I will say it kind of does have to be capped at a B just because, some things went wrong in this tournament. Unfortunately, Penta got injured in his second round matchup.
I did hear he got cleared though.
I heard the same. So Penta got injured in his second round matchup. Sheamus was injured after his first round matchup, which led to him being replaced. But we're going to go through round by round just to, like I said, we're just recapping who advanced, who won, and like any comments we may have. Jey Uso beat The Miz in a first round matchup. Don't really have much on that. Priest and Rusev, I do remember we were able to cover that. That was a solid matchup where Rusev advanced. Sheamus versus Nakamura. Sheamus did advance, but as we stated, he was injured. Miz therefore took his place in the second round. In the first round, in the last matchup of the first round, I believe. I don't think these are lined up, but yeah. And the last matchup in the first round was LA Knight versus a surprise return of Zack Ryder. Want to say I didn't fully expect that. When they said that we're gonna have surprise for the tournament, I didn't even have a clear objective of like who would be like the surprise. Mm-hmm. I didn't fully expect Zack Ryder, and if it was gonna be him, I thought it was gonna be Matt Cardona because he was always so. He had made it like very vocal over the past couple years. Like if I go back to WWE, I want to be Matt Cardona. And when he went back to NXT during the TNA thing, he was Matt Cardona. So I mean, I don't know, but it was a welcome surprise. Not a bad matchup. LA Knight did advance, however. On the other side of the bracket, there was Penta versus Finn Balor. Penta advanced. Dolph Ziggler versus Solo Sikoa in Madison Square Garden. Great match, man. I gotta tip my cap to Solo. His tournament performance, obviously, the Penta matchup didn't go as planned, but his tournament performances were very good.
And Dolph can still sell his ass.
And Dolph can still sell. The match was going so good to the point where like people were on the timeline in the middle of the match, like, "Hey, bro, like you might need to let Dolph win." And I wasn't too mad at it. I was like, "Hey, hold up." But yeah, great match there. Solo did well. He advanced out of that matchup. We had Gunther versus Javon Evans in the first round as well. Banger matchup. I thought it could have had a little bit more to it. It felt like something was missing. It was still very good, but felt like something was missing. Gunther advances from that matchup. From there, we go into the second round. Jey Uso versus Rusev. Jey Uso advances. Miz advanced in place of Sheamus. LA Knight went over, advanced to the semis. Penta, as we briefly just discussed, was hurt, unfortunately, but it was said that it was always the plan that Solo was going to win his matchup and go against Gunther. So nothing too crazy there. And then the following... Oh, wait. You know what I forgot in my first round matchup? Carmelo Hayes faced Bronson Reed. Great babyface moment for him, by the way. Crowds are really getting behind him. He advanced to the second round where he would face Gunther. Another great babyface performance. The crowds are really getting into him. It feels like 2026 is going to be Melo's year some way, somehow. I don't know what they're going to do. My suggestion, make him the Iron Man for the Royal Rumble. Oh, yeah. Just as a start. But did unfortunately fall short to Gunther, but I was very into that match. Yeah. It's weird because like I think we're deeply ingrained in wrestling enough to where we kind of know who's going to win certain things. And like it looked like Gunther was the very clear-cut favorite for this tournament. But I'm watching that Carmelo Hayes and Gunther match, and I'm like
is there hope?
Man, it's to the point I get up in front of the TV. I'm like I'm really thinking Melo's gonna pull it out.
Even with the Javon match, it felt like Javon had a slim chance of winning. It was the solo match too. Like these matches, like the matches they deliver. I don't think it wasn't really one dull match, I believe, in the tournament.
To me, like the quality of the matches in the tournament were very good, especially when you look at who was matched up with who.
Even like Shinsuke and Sheamus, that was
man.
Like, who would have thought that would have been a good match?
Man, but Gunther did advance from the Carmelo Hayes matchup. The following week was him versus Solo Sikoa. Man, I had fun watching that. But also, again, I love just seeing reactions. Like I tried not to get too into reactions because I like to form my own opinion when I do watch it. But the reaction after the match happened, wrestling Twitter occasionally they like to do their own star ratings, like different from what Meltzer does. Yeah. You see a bunch of people on the timeline going 3.75, 4.25, and for everybody that says it, there's somebody in the quotes like, bro, why are y'all lying? And then somebody in the replies like, bro, go watch the match. It's that good. I had caught Raw like the day after. So I'm like, man, this shit can't be that good. Like, Solo Hoop versus Ziggler last week, but this shit can't be that good. I turned the match on, they throwing bows. I said, they're hooping.
Bro, like, somebody mentioned this, but they was like, Solo might be like the best in-ring wrestler in like the family. So it's a high possibility.
If that's the case, it's
because he has like time to get better. So that's like the crazy part about it. It can be true in like a year or two. But
I think it's between three of them if you do want to make that case, and it's obviously to me Roman, Jacob Fatu, and then Solo. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with Solo's performance. I think because, and people talked about this as well, the issue is they're asking Solo to do things that he doesn't necessarily need to do. Because I remember when he was just the enforcer for the Bloodline, and he didn't have to lead a group or whatever. He didn't have to say much. He didn't have to do much. He was just like, you get in the ring, you hoop. And people looked at that version of Solo and said, like, this is going to be a top heel in the company for the next 10 years. You start doing the MFT stuff with him, or Bloodline 2.0, whatever. Yeah. And people would just kind of look at him like, who is this? Like, what? So, I don't know. I think it's all about, maybe helping people find their roles. I personally feel like the version of Solo Sikoa we have now is pretty good. I think it's kind of on the rest of the MFTs to like pick up their end of the slack.
Or how they present them,
and how they're presenting them as well.
We know who JC is, like we know who Haku, like the way they carry them is kind of whack sometimes, but Solo is carrying low key, but like that match was I was not expecting the match to be that good, which kind of sucks because
incredible.
The product could be so easy, just have good matches. Like that's like our biggest thing. When I talk to people, they be like, listen, just have good matches. Like the thing that we can make the product so much better if you just have good matches consistently. Yeah. Like everything doesn't have to be a 15-minute classic. You can have a good 5-minute match. Like it's not that hard. Yeah. And every blue moon you get these crazy matches. Like damn, where's this been this whole time? But they finally when they do right, they do right. So I just wish they would be more consistent with that. Because Solo, can go. Like, who would have thought him and Gunther would be good dancing partners? Like, that was crazy. Like, that match was really good. And I was like, damn, Solo could really beat this nigga, but he failed. But still a great match. When they do give us good product, it's not that hard, guys.
Exactly. On the other side of the bracket, we had LA Knight versus Jey Uso in a match to determine who would advance to the semis. Hey man, I read some stuff this week. They saying LA Knight 2026 is gonna be significantly better, man. I hope so. This tournament seemed like a good indicator. I know people still aren't fully pleased with like how his summer went and then like being excluded from War Games, and I can't say I disagree. Like, how do you know what I'm saying? How you got a guy feuding with your top group for 3 to 4 months and then he's essentially, just frozen out of War Games because you want to make it this big all-star tandem type thing. Which I understand. That's what's going to sell in the stadium. But you have to show people that, storylines matter and payoffs matter. I feel like that was your time to do that, and you didn't do it. Granted, what we saw on Raw this past Monday tells me that they are working towards paying this off. But it feels like War Games would have been like a start.
Show sucked.
Yeah, no, I didn't even. I watched 2 matches off War Games.
You didn't miss nothing, brother. I said that shit sucks.
The John Cena match was the
only
only thing that mattered to me. I'm so glad
you didn't go out there, man. That shit sucks.
The John Cena match is the only thing that mattered to me that night. I'm gonna be honest.
Your biggest pop is a kick in the nuts, man. What's going
sick. Now, in the finals of the Last Time Is Now tournament, we get LA Knight, we get Gunther on Friday Night SmackDown this past week, man. Banger match, man. Banger match. Hats off to both because I feel like both of their performances in the tournament were like very strong. And again, more so for LA Knight, given the quality of opponents that LA Knight had, as opposed to what Gunther had. Gunther wrestled some of the best wrestlers in the company and Solo Sikoa, but Solo Sikoa did well. But Gunther wrestled some of the best wrestlers within the company. And honestly, that side of the bracket that Gunther was on had the best wrestlers in general.
Oh, yeah,
you had Penta, you had Dolph Ziggler, you had Javon Evans, you had Carmelo Hayes. Bronson Reed isn't too bad himself if you ask me. So I think Gunther had the significantly better side of the bracket in terms of like in-ring ability. But LA Knight, man, we say it about him all the time. We've said it damn near every time we've talked about him. When the lights are on bright, he's gonna deliver. Niggas out there doing burning hammer, doing AA combos into a burning hammer on a Friday night SmackDown in December, dude. Like, incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. So with that, I want to ask, and I know it's easy to say Gunther because, again, as I stated, he had the best matches of the tournament. Who would you consider the MVP of the Last Time Is Now tournament?
I want to say LA Knight because, like you said, him being out of War Games, he really could have just slid by this without any care in the world. But he delivered each match he had, and then him and Gunther like face to face, like cooked a little bit. So I'm going to say LA Knight, and then also I'm going to say Melo. I think Melo, this was a good chance for us people who weren't really a big Melo fans. Us, internet, we love Melo, and this was a good chance. This was a good showcase for him to like he could be like a babyface in this company. He's a good heel, but people got behind him in that in the Brunson match, and then even in the Gunther match. Like he has some believers who I think gonna join him and get in line with the Melo train. So I'm gonna say LA Knight and Melo. That's what I'm gonna go with.
And I will say, Melo's not my answer, but I do agree with you. And it's funny because when he was in NXT, they had him doing the whole babyface thing for a while. I was like, man, like he just comes off so much better as a heel. Like over the past few weeks, I'm just looking at him like he's kind of got the babyface thing figured out. My tournament MVP, I'm not gonna say Gunther as a cop out, and I'm also not gonna say LA Knight, and it's not because of anything LA Knight did. I thought he did great, but Solo Sikoa. Okay. Obviously, the Penta match wasn't what it was, but I think I owe him the benefit of the doubt being the way his other 2 tournament matchups went. The matchup with Dolph Ziggler in the Garden was incredible, very good. Again, it was to the point where people were like, "Hey, like, can we let Dolph Ziggler win?" Like, it was really like that. The match against Gunther was like incredible, and it showed us like a side of Solo that we don't usually see. We don't always, it's not like he was necessarily working babyface in this, but like we don't always see Solo like fighting from underneath, bro. Like we don't always see Solo in the ring with somebody who like he just can't fuck with, bro.
Yeah.
Like it was good. It was like real 50-50. He gave you some stuff where you thought like, damn, like is Solo finna advance? Yeah. So my tournament MVP for the last time is now tournament Solo Sikoa. Now, as we have talked about, the winner is Gunther, or the winner was Gunther, and he has the distinct privilege of facing John Cena this Saturday for his final matchup. But with that, and even before he was crowned the winner, there's been a lot of discourse about Gunther being John Cena's final opponent. There's been people saying he doesn't need it. There's been people saying, like, what does he gain? People love to pull the age card with WWE. I'm not going to act like I'm not one of those, but in this particular instance, no, I did not. What are your thoughts?
With it being Gunther, I think this kind of carries on. Like I said, his work as a character. He retired Goldberg. Yep. He's like this whole. I'm a wrestler. I'm not an entertainer. Mm-hmm. So John Cena being an entertainer, I guess he was like kind of the next step is to being an entertainer behind like The Rock and Stone Cold. So this kind of fits in like the Gunther character line of I'm a wrestler. I do this for the sport. I don't do this for like the gimmicks and like the hoopla and the rap battles and all this other stuff. So it could. I think this might have been maybe the safest route they could have taken. I would have loved to see LA Knight, because that way we could have got like LA Knight and John Cena some promo battles, because that would have been amazing. So, but just with this being Gunther, I just kind of skeptical on how they carry this match, and like we'll talk about predictions later. But yeah, Gunther, I just feel like Gunther was like he's probably like an easy cop out, a little safe. We've been known to they've been known to take like safe routes lately, with Hunter being in charge of creative. So I'm a little skeptical about it, but I feel like this is like the safest route, like I've been saying. But you could have took a route with LA Knight or somebody else if you want to like push somebody over the top of beating John Cena. They could carry that over, but I just hope they do the right job. If Gunther does win, that they carry his character over the top after this match over. We talked about like the dark days before. Baron Corbin retiring Kurt Angle, they did nothing with that. So just something that makes sense down the line, because of course it's a long-term game with Triple H. He's in the long-term storytelling and long-term booking. So I just hope this Gunther match just delivers and makes sense going down the line. And you can't have Gunther beat Cena, then Gunther taps out the Jey Uso again down the line, or some crazy like that just happens again. So that's my only worry about it being Gunther, is how they do this down the line. But I think Gunther did a decent job Monday night with his promo. I was looking forward to that. That really would have sold the show, because we don't get to see. We haven't seen Cena since War Games. Yep. And we're not gonna see Cena again until Saturday night. So that kind of sucked. So I'm just hoping they just make right by this decision. Just have it make sense down the line. So that's really my issue with the being Gunther.
So you did speak to something important. The most important thing about this follow through is like, yes, this is going to be John Cena's last match regardless. But the importance of how you carry, even if it wouldn't have been Gunther, the importance of how you carry someone's character and what you write for them and what you produce for them after they beat John Cena this Saturday is so important. And it's because of that I don't have an issue with it being Gunther. As you stated, he already retired Goldberg. And maybe this could be his gimmick in the future. Maybe he's this quote-unquote legend killer. And then you start thinking about all the old dudes that like are in WWE who might not be around as long as Gunther's going to be around. Because Gunther's like 36, 37, I think.
He's not 40 yet.
And the way he wrestled, he going another 10 at least. Yeah. You think about all the older guys they got in WWE. CM Punk, Randy Orton. Could come back around.
Redacted.
Yeah. I don't want to say it, but this is Gunther's dream match, so I'll say it. Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's about 50 years old. John Cena alluded in an interview this week that like, Brock might be hanging it up when SummerSlam go to Minnesota this year, or next year, I should say. This could absolutely do wonders for Gunther's character, whether people think it will or not. Because somebody mentioned this on Twitter too. By having him retire John Cena, and he's already retired Goldberg, you've kind of like low key instilled within the audience that like he has some like legend killer type thing going on. And in that, you now have a legitimate beef by Randy Orton. Because we know Randy Orton as the legend killer. And again, like I said, all these old dudes walking around WWE. Gunther is, and this is a great way to describe him. I'm really trying not to pull so much from the internet as I do, but this is a great way to describe him. And this is in stark contrast to John Cena. Like you said, Gunther's a pro wrestler. John Cena is a sports entertainer. John Cena is a dream seller. Gunther is a dream killer. I have zero problem with this being the final opponent, but I do want to speak to people who are making these bad faith arguments that it shouldn't be Gunther and saying things like boring, not enough moves, gets no pop. Stop it. Stop it. Just stop it, bro. Listen. You want to tell me the nigga with 13 finishers don't have enough moves? Can anybody definitively tell me what Gunther's finisher is? Probably not, because we see a different one every match. What are we talking about?
We alluded to earlier. Who we had? Gunther versus Javon, Gunther versus Melo, Gunther versus Solo. Amazing TV matches. I'm sure whoever's producing this match is going to deliver. Like, I'm sure John and Gunther have like gone into great details about this match. This match is going to deliver, and if the rumors are true, this does open the match.
I think that's incredibly false. I don't know why they quoted that.
I think John said it though.
So I see where people are misinterpreting, but they're not gonna. And here's why. This is just like a business thing, bro. Like, if you open that show with John Cena versus Gunther, nobody else is staying to watch anything else, bro.
Somebody else told me I was like that.
Yeah, people who are legitimately fans, maybe they will, but John Cena, and he talked about this in the CVV interview. I watched that yesterday. When he came up with this idea, he said, like, I don't want this whole show to be dedicated to me, because there's people who won't be pleased, people who will be, like, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to satisfy everybody.
You can't please everybody.
Yeah, like, you're not going to satisfy everybody. But I am aware that because this is my last one, it's going to be eyes on this. You open that show with NBC, you open on Peacock, I'm sorry. You open on Peacock with John Cena versus Gunther, and Gunther doing whatever in the finish, which we'll talk about soon. And it's John Cena crying, and it's thank you, Cena, thank you, Cena. I don't want to watch that shit after that. I don't want to watch that shit after Gunther potentially just ripped my heart out and beat John Cena on his last night there. I don't. So I think opening with that would be incredibly stupid. I don't think they're going to. I think people just misinterpreted what he said on Kimmel, which was like, I just want to dedicate these other 2 hours that we have, because I think it's going to be a 3-hour show.
It better be.
I think he's just saying, I want to dedicate these other 2 hours to the people that you have here that are still going to be in this ring when I'm going. So I think people misinterpreted that.
I hope not, though. But
yeah, like
anyway, the match is going to cook. It might be the match of the year contender.
Yeah, but again, to the bad faith people, if you have watched John Cena's 20+ year career, and really, if you have seen anything from John Cena between 2005 and today, you would understand that Gunther is the perfect John Cena opponent.
Yeah.
You could throw Gunther in 2007 with John Cena and it'd be the perfect opponent. I don't get how you could be a fan of John Cena and look at that tournament bracket and say with confidence, yeah, like this absolutely cannot be John Cena's final opponent. I don't know how you can look at that bracket and say that. Gunther is the ultimate, like, anti-hero, villain, all that. Like I said, dream killer, bro. If you're a fan of John Cena, you should know, like, this is the match he has to go out on, bro. Like, John Cena, the character, has to go out, win or lose, John Cena, the character, has to go out dying on his shield. It shouldn't be like this I hate to say it because I'm terrified for what's going to happen to this man. But this shouldn't be all this sunshine and rainbows, like, you know what I'm saying, opponent. Like, he should have to work for this shit, bro. He should feel like he is in a dogfight for his life. That is how it should feel. And you as a fan should not feel differently. This is the perfect match for John Cena. This is everything John Cena has been about for 20 plus years. It is everything he has fought against. For people who thought he wasn't a good enough professional wrestler and thought he was just a sports entertainer. For people who thought he wasn't good enough to carry this company for 20 plus years, bro. This is it. Gunther is who it has to be, whether you like it or not. I don't care how boring you think Gunther is, which, spoiler alert, not true at all. Very entertaining, very interesting. You just need to get used to what actual wrestling looks like. This is who it has to be, bro. This is absolutely who it has to be. And there's no better option on the table, whether you like it or not. Now, as we come up on the retirement of John Cena, I can think of a lot of moments, a lot of things that, you know, touch me on the heartstrings. And I would like to take this time to figure out what are our top 5 John Cena moments. And it could be matches, it could be promos, it could be returns, it could be gear if you wanted to. But what are your 5 when you look at this? You say, like, you know, this is what John Cena was about. This is, you know what I'm saying? Like, this resonated with you.
First, of course, the Sprinter title belt, the coolest thing ever. Like, I wanted one as a kid growing up. I had like the John Cena action figure.
I still want one.
We don't. Hey, Carl, I'm on the way. Just gotta handle some things first. But yeah, the John Cena Sprinter belt. Of course, him wearing jerseys. Like during that era, jerseys was like a sign of
huge.
A sign of hierarchy. Like if you had a jersey back in the day, you just
and he had jerseys like that I've never seen. Like players that are
like that St. Louis, that orange St. Louis jersey, crazy. I got it like playing video games back in the day. So like the jerseys he used to wear, because like back in the day, that's when like sports was like we were kids. Like athletes and jerseys was like the coolest thing ever. Spinner belt, the jerseys. I'm trying to think what else moments. Even though I hated it, but him and Edge, that was like the coolest thing. That was like one of the best rivalries ever, in my opinion. Like I literally hated Edge because of that, like their whole rivalry. Then especially with him, like costing Cena the title in ECW. Like I legit did not like RVD or Edge because of that. So because that's how much Cena was to me. I'm trying to think 5. Of course, I would say the reverse pipe bomb that happened earlier this year. That was like cool as hell. Just seeing that in live time. Like, are they really doing this? Like. Especially it being was that no, the Punk one was overseas, but this one was in America. So like that was kind of cool seeing that happen in real time. Like everything, just the R-Truth table spot that happened in real time. Like we're now adults watching this. It's like wow, this is cool as hell. And then let me see 5. I guess Cena and Rock happening. That was cool. Just two like people's goats, like on the mic promo battle while I was going back and forth. How long that story took to establish was just crazy. And even though it carried on to this, you're getting with the Rock with the Cena heel turn, another crazy moment. You know, we found out what really led to that falling apart. So shout out
as
Travis.
We always suspected.
Shout out Travis for ruining the game we love. But so I'm gonna go with the Spinner title belt, the jerseys, all the great rivals he had, especially one with Edge and Punk, the promo battles that he has. You know, he's throwing low blows and like the cool little, I guess, hot take shots dissing you. And then 5, I get. I'm gonna have to say the underdog moments he has. You know, him beating Umaga, him beating JBL with the brass knuckles. I'm trying. Him beating Big Show with the brass knuckles to win the U.S. title match. And just him being like a people's guy, you know, running to the crowd with the titles. That was just Cena just gets it, man. That's why he's the GOAT, man.
Absolutely. So for me, I have 5 myself. Go for 5 and go to the number 1. So for number 5, I have tying Flair for championship number 16. That particular match with Cena and AJ, like, I think that's the one for me. Like, no matter what, I went back and watched their very first one at Money in the Bank. And like it was good, but I didn't feel like I felt for like the Royal Rumble one, bro. Like, it's just different, bro. Like the stakes was different. They never left the ring. No outside interference, none of that. So for me, Ty and Flair for number 16. For number 4, honestly, these next two are going to be moments that are dear to me because I was in attendance for these. Number 4, I have his entrance at WrestleMania 39. I talk about this a lot, but I'm a big proponent of, like, again, like, just people doing things they don't necessarily have to do, bro. Just out of genuine love and goodness out of their heart, bro. At that time, like, you know, this is early on in those kind of retirement talks where, like, you would see these interviews every now and then, and John Cena would be like, yeah, I'm trying to hang it up before 50. And you would go look at his age, and you'd be like, we might have a little bit more time. I think he's like 47 now, so I think he was like 45-ish, maybe 44 at the time. And I'm just like, damn, like, okay, we got some time, but, like, we don't know how much time. So I see that interest at WrestleMania, and I just immediately think to myself, like, damn, like, this could have been your last WrestleMania. And that's what you chose to do. Like, that's very different. You created a moment for those kids, like, and you didn't necessarily have to. I thought that was cool. So that's my number 4, the WrestleMania 39 entrance. Number 3, this is good for a number of reasons to me. One, I was there. While I didn't get to attend WrestleMania 27, I got to attend the night after, which was still cool because that was my first Raw after Mania. But this particular Raw after Mania set the stage for Once in a Lifetime, which is WrestleMania 28 against The Rock, of course. I vividly remember this because, like I said, I was there. At the time, my mom got tickets from her job in the Home Depot had a suite when it was still Phillips Arena. So anytime wrestling came to town, like, we got to see it from there. Like, I got to watch Royal Rumble 2011 from there, like, all that. So, you know, at this time, I don't know if you were still watching then, but the core was, you know, the off-brand Nexus group that they made. Because they gave CM Punk Nexus and made it New Nexus, and Wade Bear was on SmackDown. Cena and Rock were, like, having a conversation in the ring about the main event the night before. You know, they get into it. The core just comes out of nowhere. Or actually, I believe it was the other way around. I think they set up the match because of the night before. And then the core comes out of nowhere. I watch both of them just, like, kick ass, clear the ring. And it's just, like, a moment in time of them just, like, staring each other down. Like, to me, that was honestly, and I remember being a kid in that moment and not really, like, understanding business aspects. Yeah. At the time, you know, the pay-per-view after WrestleMania was Extreme Rules. And I'm seeing Cena and Rock standing in the ring. I'm like, okay, they finna announce for Extreme Rules.
No, brother.
Yo, that is a WrestleMania 28 in Miami. I said, I said, bro, what? But yeah, being in the building for that was special to me because as far as I know, that is the first time that a WrestleMania match has ever been set up a year in advance, like on television, set up a year in advance and built the entire year, bro, with a bunch of, like, hiccups, not hiccups, but, like, a bunch of bumps in between the Survivor Series stuff, the promos where, you know, he calls Dwayne egotistical, self-centered son of a bitch. Also, I'm gonna lump that in there with this moment. I love that. I reference it all the time whenever The Rock pisses me off. Number 2, the heel turn. I don't care what happened after. I don't care who fell out. The moment itself is one of the few times where, like, I can still count on one hand the times, like, pro wrestling has made me cry. Pro wrestling has, like, really legitimately made me feel something. Like, moment-wise, match-wise, whatever. Like, there's probably, like, 4 or 5 times. That was one of them, bro.
The fact that made, like, the national news.
Dude, national news, TMZ. I got people texting me that don't watch wrestling asking me about this, bro. Like, it was a larger-than-life moment, but also, like, I was 26 at the time, 27 now. But even as a 26-year-old at that time, I'm sitting there and, like, I felt very betrayed. Like, that, for the first time in my life, somebody that I looked up to, like John Cena. I have no problem telling anybody, like, I look up to John Cena, I idolize him, like, he's a great guy, bro, to me. And it's okay if other people don't feel that way. But that is the first time ever in my life that I had ever felt betrayed, let down, or lied to by John Cena, bro. When he did...
Cena went rogue.
Dude.
He went rogue.
Dude, I can't remember who I texted that shit. I think it was y'all. When he did that shit, I was like, bro, like... Or I think I tweeted, I was like, John, it's not hustle, loyalty, respect, bro. And I really meant it, bro. Like, I was legitimately upset. Like, I was legitimately upset that he would do something like that, bro. It just felt like, who is this in the ring right now, bro? Like, why are you doing this? And obviously because people, you know, didn't come along for the ride. We didn't get the answers we want. But that particular moment to me, it's just incredible, bro. Like, that will always be the greatest heel turn of all time to me. Oh, yeah, for sure. And Hogan's NWO one is number 2. But that moment to me, it made me like really feel something, bro. And I always say this too, when it comes to Cody Rhodes. To me, that particular heel turn was a testament to Cody Rhodes. Because for a couple weeks, you know, like the crowd got mixy around WrestleMania. But for a couple weeks, people looked John Cena dead in the face and told him you suck and told him you're an asshole and all this other stuff. And they looked at Cody Rhodes and said, this is our guy. We're choosing him over you. We never thought we'd have to, you know what I'm saying, boo you and do this. We're choosing Cody Rhodes over you. And the year before, when The Rock did what he did, the people chose Cody Rhodes, bro. So I aside from that moment making me feel something, I thought that was just like a great testament to the character of Cody Rhodes, but also a testament to what they did that night in that ring. I thought it was a great moment. I thought everybody played their part well, Travis Scott and The Rock included. I thought everybody did what they needed to do, bro. I thought it was incredible. And my number one moment, it's probably number one on a lot of people's list, depending on who you ask. But the 08 Rumble, man. These days in wrestling, there are not a lot of legitimate surprises. Everybody wants to be an insider now. A lot of us follow like wrestling journalists, wrestling scoopsters, insiders, whatever. There are not a lot of legitimate surprises today in wrestling. There probably were more back then when this happened, but there are not a lot of legitimate surprises in wrestling. In 2008, that was a legitimate surprise. John Cena tore his pectoral. He was supposed to be gone for, I believe, a year. Yeah. Like, well after that year's WrestleMania. Because he tore it around, like, in the summer, something like that. He was supposed to be gone for over a year. It's Madison Square Garden. It's the Royal Rumble. 30th entrant. You know, Triple H in there cleaning house and shit. The horn hits. Then the Tron hits. And that's why I miss Titantrons so much, bro. Like actual Titantrons. Because I vividly remember the first thing you see is like on that small screen, because this is when Madison Square Garden was set up different at the time. You hear the horn. There's a little pause. Duh. You see the Tron come up with the chain and like, duh, duh. Then John Cena just. It's probably the best. Even though this is number one on my list, it's also probably the best overall surprise moment in wrestling. I don't know if I can think of a better one to where like it was a legitimate surprise. Nobody had an inside scoop. Nobody knew anything. Nobody was like, oh, he's going to be backstage. Actually, I take that back. The CM Punk thing at War Games a couple years ago was a legitimate surprise.
I was going to say then the Edge return 2020.
Okay. So, yeah. So those two.
But, yeah, like you said, nothing like Cena's been gone for a year. Like,
dog, like he was not supposed to be there at all. Like, and that was the first time when people like really found out like what Super Cena was about. Like, a lot of people define Super Cena as like, you know what I'm saying, this nigga take a bunch of finishers and get up. And yeah, maybe it is. But when I think of Super Cena, my immediate thought is like, whenever this nigga get injured, he's back in like 4 months. They tell this nigga 12 months, he back in 4. And like, to me, I always remember the story of him. He always tells that story in the interviews, and he's like, yeah, they told me it was supposed to be like, 9 to 12 months or something. He said, that's for a regular person. What if I come to, he said, look, I'm not wrestling. What if I come in here and do rehab like 3 times a day, every day. Like, are you insane?
And then, like you said, that's like the perfect. It's like the perfect camera shot because you get the ring, the Titantron, like the fans, and like that first couple of rows, and then you get to see him just walk with his head down. It's just like it's just cinema, man.
It's incredible, man.
Don't leave us, John, please.
Man, I have said this probably every time since like the last Monday Night Raw. Like, what, like, bro? Do you have to go, bro? Like, are we sure? Like, do you really want to do this? But like hearing him talk about it, I understand. It's crazy. I want to ask, what did you think about? So like I've been just watching the interviews and kind of binging the interviews over the past few days. Watched the Ronaldo one, watched the CVV one. As we know, like WWE isn't what it used to be in terms of like these dates. Like people get time off, people be with their families. Initially, John Cena wanted to work 220 dates, which used to be a full WWE schedule. That is not the case anymore. I don't know exactly how many dates, but because they don't do house shows every week now, and it's just TV, maybe the occasional house show. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, if realistically full time for John Cena probably would have been like 100 something, I think, if I'm not mistaken, just because based off how the schedule is now. The company told him, we only need you for 36, and they settled on 36. And I think he said initially, I guess they came to 36 because initially he was going to take the whole year off, like he wasn't going to do anything. Mm-hmm. But I guess that changed. They settled on 36. Do you ultimately feel like that was too little? Because I think people are kind of misunderstanding the idea of like him wanting to do 220 and just not understanding like, hey, like it's not what this is anymore. But do you still think like 36 was like too little? Like, do you think there could have been more?
I think there could have been more, but like you said, like 200 is kind of crazy. So I think 36, maybe like 50 would have been perfect. Cause
that's what I was thinking.
To me, the run really wasn't that bad looking back at it. Like, okay, we have the Rumble. Mm-hmm. Okay, we kind of questioned like Jay winning. EC, perfect heel turn. The whooping up Cody. Then we get the 2 or 3 week European tour. Yep. Where he's just talking his cash money shit. That was kind of cool to me. He beats Cody. I don't know how long Cody's out for that, but then we get the Randy stuff. They probably could have done a bit more with the Randy storyline, but Randy got his moment in St. Louis, so that was cool. Then I think was that the CM Punk stuff
in June. Yes.
Yeah. So Punk stuff I think that did his job. What else happened after that? But I think ideally it was maybe a couple more dates would have been fine. Yeah. Especially during like this last run, we haven't seen him as much as we probably would like to see him. Would like to see him and Dom go at it some more. I would like to see him and Gunther have like at least an extra week of promo battles. Mm-hmm. That would have been cool, or at least John come out to maybe one of the tournaments and kind of like peek out or something small like that, just a little bit like that. But we take what we got, you know what I'm saying? Like they said, they're trying to do better with like these dates and being burnt out because we see it a lot recently with like all these injuries that can cause from being burnt out. So 50, I think 50 would have been perfect in my idea. Yeah. That would have been a perfect amount of dates for him.
So I too was leaning towards 50. I think what the big issue is what you said. It's like on this back end, like it's like damn, like we're really not seeing them. Yeah. But on that front end, you got to remember, like we were seeing them a lot. Like sometimes I think, like you said, it was Netflix. Don't see him till Rumble. After Rumble, don't see him till Chamber. Like okay, we can kind of deal. Cool. See him at Chamber, heel turn. Takes I think it was like a week or two break. European tour, all them interactions with Cody. Think he left for like another week or two. Interaction with Cody before Mania, interaction. Promo after Mania, shit with Randy Orton. Like if the tour was kind of, I think, I don't want to say front loaded. But that first half of the tour, it feels like we saw him a lot more. Like during the heel Cena run, like we saw him a lot more. But I think the problem that me and like other people have. Like I'm not necessarily mad at the 36. Like I feel like for the most part we got enough for John Cena this year. Like I feel like he was around way more than he had to be. Mm-hmm. I will say I do kind of wish he wrestled more, but yeah, I think he was for someone with the schedule he has. Because I'm just like listening to him talk about it. He was like he flew. He said he flew from Indy for the Rumble to Budapest and then back. And all that's crazy, bro. Yeah. Like he said, he would have to come home and sleep for 10 hours. He said he doesn't really get sleep on a plane. He would come home and sleep for 10 hours, dog. It's insane. I think the issue more so is a lot of us, well, I don't know how many people did it, but like me personally, I spent that first half of the tour like kind of, you know what I'm saying? I say this all the time, but when niggas is bad guys on TV, I played a role, bro. I was booing John Cena. Was I happy you won a 17 championship? Yes. But when you on TV playing bad guy, like, I'm playing along too. So I think a lot of people's issue is like, damn, like, we kind of spent the front half of this tour booing you, yeah, having to hate you, blah, blah, blah. And then we finally get to the babyface turn. And I don't necessarily, I will say this, aside from, there's like 3 or 4 matches on the tour, regardless of heel or babyface, that I just did not like. And that was WrestlePalooza. That was Money in the Bank. The R-Truth match at Saturday Night's main event. And actually, it might have just been 3. So, yeah. Regardless of face or heel, I just didn't like those matches. But a lot of people, their gripe is we had to spend half this time booing you. But then also, the quality of match picked up almost immediately as you turn babyface. Yeah. Like, we got the John Cena we know and love, plus like some bells and whistles, like he said. You know, using everybody's moves, whatever. So people kind of feel like, damn, like, why didn't y'all spend a year doing this? And I don't necessarily side with anybody on this, but I can see where people are coming from. I can see why it's frustrating. Because again, we got to spend half the time. It's 36 dates, and we spent almost half of it booing you. And when you finally turn babyface, we probably see you like 8 more times, I think. Yeah. Like, it was just, I don't know. I don't know. It feels, I know like a lot of people want to say, yeah, Triple H sabotaged this and that. I don't think I wouldn't go that far. But I do think it was grossly mishandled. I think, here's my problem, and it's funny, we were talking about this with the Shador Sanders shit too in the group chat earlier. Sometimes, like, I don't think there's any hidden motive. Sometimes I just think people are stupid. I think Triple H is kind of stupid. Like, I don't think there was any hidden motive. I don't think it's some beef from 20 years ago when he realized John Cena was going to be the top guy and he wasn't. Like, I just think Triple H is stupid, bro. That's it. I just think he's an idiot. I don't think he purposely sabotaged the tour. I don't think the tour is as bad as people say it is.
Yeah, like it's got like
it could have been a lot better. Yeah. It could have been a lot better on several fronts.
And it just sucks that we put so much faith they put so much faith in Travis Scott. Like, yeah, because what did he say? Like a 6-man tag match that probably would have had that would have been on the show. And yeah,
I think obviously the worst part about the tour is not necessarily the heel turn, but it's like how the heel turn ended up. Because when you do something that big, like, you have to follow it up. Yeah. And for the first few weeks, he absolutely did his job. Yeah, like. But as it went on, it's just like, well, these niggas not showing up. Why is he doing it? Yeah, what's the point? So I think that's probably the biggest like misstep in the tour. But it's impossible for me to say like the tour was terrible, especially when you can go through the tour and point out so many great moments. You can go and point out. You can go and point out Punkonomics. You can go and point out the Pipe Bomb 2.0. You can go and point out his very first promo, like, you know, when he turned heel, talking shit about that kid. Like, it's impossible for me to say this tour is the worst it could have been, just because there are so many moments you can point out. But it is not impossible. It is not impossible to say it could have been better, because it absolutely could have. If it was up to me, I would have, some of these dates, I probably would have had them, like, you know what I'm saying, talk a little less. Like, it's cool we had the last time is now tournament, but like there are some dates where I probably just, yeah, you showed up to cut a promo about this guy, but like somebody in the back might just be like, look, bro, like this your last year. It's cool that you and Cody Rhodes got what you got going on, but I want to fight. That's simple. And to be fair, R-Truth did it. Mm-hmm. You and CM Punk got shit going on, but I guess in canon, you got me fired about this bitch. I guess that's the story they're going with. They say it's gonna be on Unreal. In canon, like, you know what I'm saying? You was my last match. You got me fired about this bitch. And you cheated to win. Fuck what you and CM Punk got going on. We gonna fight. And obviously that led to the Pipe Bomb 2.0 promo, but still. So I definitely can understand, like, wanting it to be better. I don't hate it.
Well, like he said, man, you can't please everybody, you know. If you too much of this, too less of that, they're gonna complain anyway. But in hindsight, I give it a solid B minus.
Yeah, I can go B minus. What else? I ain't gonna lie, I really don't want to talk about shit else that's not John Cena today. And we are almost at an hour. But I guess we can talk rivals for a minute, man. If you had to rank his rivals, and it's always funny talking about it because I think to myself, like, some of these things John Cena might be their greatest rival. But that ain't John Cena's greatest rival.
I can name about 3 off the top of my head right
now. Yeah, like Edge is not John Cena's greatest rival. But John Cena might be Edge's greatest rival.
I think he is. Yeah, he is.
So let's just, for the sake of, let's rank them. And just to throw some names out there, this is just throwing names. Obviously, there are more, but like, there's Triple H. They've had a series of matches that I think would qualify them as rivals. Randy Orton, obviously. I think they've had the most matches out of any of Cena's rivals. CM Punk. AJ Styles. Don't necessarily love it, but Brock Lesnar would qualify to be on this list if you wanted to put him on there. JBL.
Yeah, got to throw JBL in there. Got to throw Edge in there.
Edge. Batista. So give me 5 and rank those 5. Just in the order, really, either your favorite rival for him or just like in the order of importance you think they are.
Well, personally, I'm gonna have to go him and AJ because those are like the 2 of the GOATs growing up. Like we said earlier, like in previous episodes, John, the face of WWE, AJ, the face of TNA. If you would have told us in 2007 that John and AJ would have like the match of the year in multiple years in the 2020s, we would have called you crazy, called the authorities. This nigga's on drugs. He's hallucinating. So, personally, number 1, AJ and John, 2 GOATs who made us fall in love with wrestling, whether it be in the ring or just the personalities of John Cena on the mic and what his character work does. But number 1, I hate to say it, but it has to be Edge because that was the spark to John Cena, the face, and Edge, the heel. Just Edge coming off the Matt Hardy beef, him being like the asshole of Mr. Steal Your Girl and the rated R superstar, him cashing in on John. After John had that crazy ass match in New Year's Revolution.
Yeah.
That just, like I said earlier, that made me hate Edge. Them going back and forth, like them. Was it Edge who like smacked John's dad?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, Edge went to his house and smacked him.
Yeah.
Randy punted him.
Yeah, like
like a year later.
Yeah, like that. Like Edge and John just crazy mano y mano. I hate you. You know, your girl's a slut. Yada yada yada. Just. Crazy work,
crazy shit about me.
Like crazy work as an 8-9-year-old watching this. Like, damn, what the hell am I watching? But this shit is so good, man. So yeah, number 1, Edge, Cena. Sorry, I can't. There's nothing I can do about it. Okay. 2, have to go Punk and Cena. What more can you say, man? Pipe Bomb 2.0. Chicago, Money in the Bank. I'm leaving here with the title. John wins the title from Rey Mysterio. John wins the title back. Punk music hits with the new music. 20 years later, it still hit the same. 2 guys, like I said, man, 2 guys who just carry the company no matter what year it is. They just do what they do. They don't miss. So that's what I'm going with 2. 3, it's gonna be tough. Do I want to say? might have to put JBL at 3, just being like the stepping stone of like John being like the baby face.
I can see that. And I watched that I Quit match last week, or maybe earlier this week. Not last week. Man, great stuff.
Yeah, like JBL being like this corporate asshole, and then Cena rising on the top as being like the heel, and then him beating JBL, and then bringing the Sprinter title belt. Just chef kiss, man. It just made, like I said, it made you hate JBL. Like in our era, JBL was like one of the most hated heels like in the business. Like you really hated the man. Like you thought he was like an asshole. Now he's funny as hell. It's like, damn, I still kind of hate you for like that big ass cowboy hat and you just being like an asshole with that.
Yo, the funniest thing with JBL is people figuring out that like he's not really racist in real life. That's how good he played the character.
Like just that damn clothesline, a simple clothesline can really can make you hate a man. So then, I'm trying to think, 4. I guess 4 we can say Randy, just from them being back and forth. Them 2 young guys, OVW days. Mm-hmm. And then 5, I'm going to have to go Triple H, just because, even now, because who knows what the hell's going on. And then the only WWE DVD I had was WrestleMania 22. Chicago, John comes out in the
gangster car.
The gangster car.
CM Punk hanging off of him.
Yeah, CM Punk. The Easter egg, what you call the gun? I forgot what the gun is.
The Tommy gun.
Yeah, the Tommy gun. Triple H coming out there with the crown, like Triple H does, he does with WrestleMania entrances, and then I'm like, damn, Cena could really lose this match, but that damn Triple H just taps out, man. Just cinema, man. So yeah, that's my top 5 rivalries.
So my number 1 for John Cena is going to be CM Punk. Just simply off the fact that like every time they got in the ring together, it was absolute magic. Whether that was Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, Monday Night Raw in 2013, this year. I know people aren't necessarily fond of it because the heel shenanigans, but like one of the best. Number 2, I'm gonna go AJ Styles, and it feels a little crazy because it's just like, damn, like AJ's been in the WWE for about 10 years now, or almost 10.
9? Yeah.
Yeah.
8,
so
9. Coming
up on a decade, but it's like, damn, like when you think of like the body of work Cena had up until that point, like with different rivals, etc. It's crazy how like AJ just creeped onto that list like seamlessly. Every match he had with Cena was a banger, up until the very last one, like banger after banger after banger after banger. For number 3, I'll go with Edge. As you mentioned, like that rivalry did a lot for both men. This was one of Cena's like more prominent rivalries when he was still kind of like, he made a name for himself, but like he wasn't quite the franchise player yet. I think the Edge rivalry came into, it was him being like on top for about a year or 2, maybe a year and a half. But one of the things I remember, or 2 of the things I remember most, it's just like how mad Edge would make John Cena to the point where like John Cena out here doing criminal shit. John Cena busted in this nigga hotel room and beat his ass all over the room. And then a different time, John Cena threw Edge into the Long Island Sound, bro. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, like, can this nigga swim? And I was like, this shit is dirty as hell, bro. Like, Edge might not come back with hair next week. Like, that shit was dirty as hell. So, for number 3, I'm going to go Edge. For number 4, I'm comfortable with going Randy Orton. One of his longest tenured rivals, had the most matches out of any of his rivals, I believe. There was obviously the punt kick to Cena's dad. There was the kayfabe thing of, Cena being put out of action by Orton. But I'm comfortable with having that at 4. A lot of great matches between those 2, in my opinion. I know if you ask others, they'll feel differently and feel like the rivalry went on way too long. So I will go 4. 5 is where it's a bit of a struggle because I'm like, damn, like it's a lot of people that can fit that bill. But I'll go JBL as well, just because, as you mentioned, he was the stepping stone for John Cena to win that first championship, and the I Quit at Judgment Day kind of like solidified him. But also, like, they had some matches after that, man. Like, I know there was a street fight between them at the Great American Bash that JBL won, and like a bunch of other matches. So, I'm comfortable putting JBL at 5. Do you have any honorable mentions or?
I literally just thought about it. My number 5, John Cena versus the Authority.
I don't hate it. Although he was not the sole survivor in that Survivor Series match, like that was
just the moment, like that.
Yeah, the moment was.
Because the reason I say the Authority, because I'm going back to that Survivor Series match, and then the John Cena versus Randy moment of like them two
unifying
the belts. That moment is how it felt like the Authority thing of like, okay, who's gonna be the face of the company going forward? Randy won the match, so I guess did that kind of set up John leaving, like being part-time-ish? I can't fully remember, but like,
so that was like 2014, 15. Yeah, he kind of started leaning towards the part-time thing, like 2015-ish, if I'm correct.
So yeah, number 5 just being John versus anybody who he didn't have a chance to beat. So John being the Authority, just that, and then also like John versus the like Seth and J&J. Like John just his back against the wall, Super Cena, complete underdog. Just John versus like the bigger guy who he shouldn't beat, but ends up finalizing on top. So yeah, I'm gonna say John versus the Authority. That's like honorable mention for me.
So I have 2 honorable mentions, maybe 3. My first, people don't talk about him a lot. They talk about him when they talk about the start of John Cena's career, but they don't really talk about him. Like they were locked up a lot in 05, bro. Kurt Angle.
Oh yeah.
The Kurt Angle had a lot of matches with John Cena in that 05 period. Both of them had got moved to Raw. I remember at the time, like, you know, Bischoff was like hell bent on setting Cena straight. So like it would be him and Angle, or it'd be him and Jericho, or it'd be a mix. But Kurt Angle.
And then John said like that moment of Kurt being like, "All right, I work with the kid." Like that's an Olympic gold medal in working with like a newbie. Like let's give people a show. Like, so yeah, that's a good mention.
Yeah. My second honorable mention, Kevin Owens.
Oh damn.
Kevin Owens is probably not the only example, and maybe not the first, but the most prevalent example of like John Cena knowing what's best for business and doing the right thing. Obviously, at the time that they first locked horns, like KO was NXT champion, John Cena was United States champion, and like, you know, Kevin Owens basically brought it to this nigga doorstep on Monday Night Raw and let him know, like, I'm here, nigga. And to show you, like, this is the crazy part to me. It was never about the United States Championship either. Kevin Owens dead ass dropped this nigga and stepped on his belt and held up the NXT title. Because he didn't give a fuck about that belt. It was about a certain dominance, nigga. So I'll go Kevin Owens. They had like some great matches for them to not have as many matches. And a final one, and arguably one of the best SummerSlam matches ever. I know this is a one-off, and I don't know if people really consider them rivals. Daniel Bryan.
Oh,
incredible match. That's when he had, you know, the elbow stuff going on, so he had the little sleeve on. That is one of the better SummerSlam matches I've ever seen. The promo material leading up to it was awesome. Because they haven't had as many matches as like a lot of other people on this list, I see why they don't get mentioned. But that match, that's probably one of the greater matches to like never have a follow-up, right? Like, it wasn't a series, it wasn't a trilogy, it wasn't anything. John Cena got hurt that night, or got hurt before that, and like dropped the belt, and that was it. But like Daniel Bryan went over. Incredible match, bro. No complaints. One more thing I wanted to I guess, bring up or get your opinion on. I'm trying to have all of this pulled up, but there was a little bit of a debate, and there was like, is John Cena Mr. Royal Rumble? Because John Cena has won 2 Royal Rumbles, one in '08, of course, and another in 2012 or 13, whichever one coincides with WrestleMania 29. But on top of that, there is also the triple threat with Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar. Trying to see Royal Rumble singles matches. Let's start that. The match with Edge at the 2006 Royal Rumble, is that right? I think 2006. 2005, where he didn't win, but that, if you remember, that's the iconic finish between him and Batista, where Vince tears his quads. 2007 with Umaga. I don't know how people remember this match in 2012, but there was a match against Kane at the Royal Rumble. Actually, that didn't even really get underway because I remember that was used for a Zack Ryder angle. So disregard that. The AJ Styles match, obviously.
She's making this hard.
Yeah. Actually, now that the picture is in front of me, I think I have everything. Okay, let's see. Royal Rumble, singles. Oh, no, that's a Royal Rumble too. They won't pull up the singles matches for me. But yeah, there is a case to be made if you look at the full body of work.
Damn. Stone Cold, what do you have for me? Yeah, that is a good argument. That might be this week's research because with Stone Cold, he won 3, right? So
yeah, John Cena won 2,
but I gotta see if Stone Cold got some other.
Actually, I think this is it. Okay, I got it. All right. So 2003 until 2005 was him appearing in Royal Rumbles. So we can start with 2005 because that's when he had like a prominent like Rumble like finish appearance, whatever. So we have the 2005 where he was in the final 2 with Batista. We have 2006 against Edge where he won the WWE Championship back. 2007, the iconic Last Man Standing versus Umaga. You have 2008 where, of course, he returns from the pectoral injury months in advance and wins. 2009 where he beats JBL for the World Heavyweight title, or defends the World Heavyweight title against JBL, I should say. 2010, oh yeah, this is the Rumble I was at. He was in like the final 4, but yeah. 2011 was that 40-man Royal Rumble. Truthfully, I don't remember much about this. 2012 was a double countout versus Kane. 2013 was the year he won again. 2014 was, and this was a very good match because I remember this one, Randy Orton versus Cena. And this is when the WWE World title had recently been unified.
Was that a triple threat match on the Royal Rumble? Him, Seth, and Brock?
Yep, that is 2015.
Okay. Yeah.
2017, you have John Cena defeating Styles to tie for 16. You have the 2018 Rumble and then the 2025 Rumble, which I know people are upset about like how it ended, but I thought that was a great Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, Stone Cold, but that title belongs to John Cena now. He is Mr. Royal Rumble.
Or is he Mr. SummerSlam? Because the SummerSlam catalog is crazy too. So listen to this. In 2004, you have a best of 5 match series with Booker T. In 2005, you have a WWE title match against Chris Jericho. 2006, you have him versus Edge. 2007, you have him versus Randy Orton. 2008, you have him versus Batista for the first time ever. 2009, you have him versus Randy Orton again. 2010 was the 14-man elimination match versus the Nexus. 2011, CM Punk versus John Cena in the middle of the Summer of Punk. 2012, it was CM Punk versus John Cena versus The Big Show. 2013 was that match we just touched on a couple minutes ago. Daniel Bryan versus John Cena. 2014, the squash match of all squash matches, Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. 2015, you have... Oh, they got a bunch of house shows in the way. Hold on. Okay, there we go. 2015, you have John Cena versus Seth Rollins, where it was winner take all. So, heavyweight title and U.S. title. 2016, you have John Cena defeating... Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. It's a tour again. God damn. A lot of tours in this bitch. Okay, there we go. 2016, you have AJ Styles defeating John Cena. 2017, you have John Cena versus Baron Corbin. 2021, you have John Cena versus Roman Reigns. And then 2025, of course, you have Cody Rhodes versus John Cena in a street fight. So, does John Cena have a case for Mr. Royal Rumble or Mr. SummerSlam?
Both. BOFF, both. God damn, bro.
I ain't gonna lie. If I had to choose, I think I'm going Mr. SummerSlam, man. Like, that's a good catalog. Like, you got Jericho in there when, you know, Jericho was still Jericho. You got Booker T in there. Booker T in 04 and 05 was like really good. I watch a lot of like 04, 05 SmackDown, and like it had some good stuff going on. Booker T was really good at that time. Daniel Bryan match, CM Punk match, obviously running it back with CM Punk again, but like having Big Show in the mix. I'm comfortable going Mr. SummerSlam, especially after this year, because that match is like that Cody Rhodes and John Cena match might be in John Cena's top 5 when it's all said and done. Like, it's gonna be up there with like the Umaga match. It might be behind it, but like it's gonna be up there like with that. So
yeah, he has a clear case of man. I'm sorry, but niggas the GOAT.
Yeah. Amen. Say man. And before we close, because we are coming up on hour 30 pretty soon, and I would like to get to this burger restaurant. I ain't gonna lie. So to get off of the topic for John Cena for a minute, in the War Games matchup, CM Punk was pinned by Braun Breaker. CM Punk is the world champion, and if you, as the world champion, are pinned in wrestling, niggas know what that means. Like, the nigga who pinned you got a legitimate gripe. Now, with that being said, Adam Pearce has made official for the first Monday Night Raw and the 1-year anniversary of Raw on Netflix that for the World Heavyweight title, it will be CM Punk versus Braun Breaker. With that, I ask, ironically, by the way, is the time now? Is it time to fully put the rocket on Braun Breaker? Is it time for him to get the belt? Or is it a case of, and we've seen the promos for the past 2 weeks, Braun Breaker is begging, pleading, on his knees, as he said, and literally did, for the real CM Punk. For the CM Punk that used to be anti-establishment. For the CM Punk that didn't take shit from anybody. From the CM Punk who didn't give a damn about anybody but himself backstage. That is the Braun Breaker CM Punk is begging for. And in the history of wrestling, usually when niggas, when the bad guy asks for this, it don't necessarily bode well. But I'm wondering, is it time?
Hunter Hershey Helmsley, I triple dog dare you. I quadruple dog dare you. Pull the goddamn trigger.
Amen.
Because I know you won't do it. You're going to play it safe. You're going to have these little mystery guys come out and cost the match. I know what's going to happen. You can fool them. You can't fool me. So, no. I know you're not going to do it. I know you're not going to do it. You're scared. I know you're scared. We know you're scared. You're not going to do it. You're just going to hype us up for these next couple of weeks. Oh, Braun, he's doing these great promos. Let's just see how it works out. You're not going to do it. I know you're not going to do it. So I'm not even going to waste my time. So, no.
Yeah.
Punk's going to win. You're gonna have Braun do some in the Royal Rumble. You might have Braun win in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? I know you can't fool us.
Listen,
you're not gonna do it. And if you do it, they're not shake your hand. But now, I'm not gonna shake your hand.
Listen,
because I know you're scared.
So I will say this: if the long-term payoff is that Braun Breaker is going to go on to the WrestleMania main event in a rematch and beat CM Punk, I'm a little okay with that. However, well, not even however, but also like just in the history of wrestling, bro, you don't necessarily just get to call the babyface a pussy while he's sitting at home healing up his injuries and thinking like when he come back shit gonna be sweet. I done seen that with John Cena. It was like 2010 or 2009 or something. And Chris Jericho was like the world champion, and it was going into Survivor Series. And like niggas knew John Cena was coming back. They was putting it in commercials. Jericho was, on TV talking like shit was sweet, calling John Cena this, that, and the third. John Cena came back in Survivor Series and took that nigga belt. Like, you don't get to shout all this shit at the babyface for like 2 weeks and like shit be sweet when he show up, man. So I don't know. So if the payoff is, hey, young nigga, you got to learn this lesson one time. And then you go on to WrestleMania and possibly the main event and beat him, I might be okay with that. However, and here's the however, we talk very often about like sometimes it's okay to put the rocket on the young dude. It's okay to take chances. You can show us something right here, bro. You can show us something right here by putting that belt on Braun Breaker. And I don't even care if you do it and this nigga win it back at Chamber and then you run the rematch at Mania. Whatever, bro. But you put that belt on Braun Breaker, I think, I'm going to say something daring. You put the belt on Braun Breaker January 5th, 2026 on Monday Night Raw, I think you restart the boom period in WWE. Legitimately. I think you restart the boom period that you started in 2023 if you put that belt on him. That's how important I think it is.
Listen, man, that show last year sucked in hindsight looking back. So
terrible.
This is, if you want to make up for it and, like you said, create a big boom, this is the time to do it, but he's not going to do it. I double dog dare you to do it.
We'll see.
It's going to be some bullshit, bro. Oh, LA Knight comes back and it's going to be some bullshit, man. Yeah. I don't have hope. I'm sorry.
You got to see, man. Now, with that, we are going to get into a bittersweet segment, of course. Predictions, but it's the last time that we will have John Cena on a prediction episode, as this is going to be his last match. And we will start with another match where, it's a little controversial and we talk about one of the young guys, man. So if you don't know, Saturday night's main event, yes, it is going to be John Cena's last match, but also John Cena went out of his way to make sure that the best and brightest from NXT are showcased on that show. And perhaps there are none brighter on NXT than the NXT champion currently, Oba Femi.
Ooh.
The ruler.
Ooh.
The NXT champion.
Ooh.
Going one-on-one with QB1, the undisputed champion, Cody Rhodes. Oh, man. As someone who is firmly Cody FC, I got to tell you, man, there's a chance to do something special here, bro. There's a great chance to do something special. I think Oba is main roster ready, first and foremost. I think whenever you finally get that belt on Javon, like, you don't hesitate to get Oba on the main roster.
Yeah.
But I think there's a chance to do something special here, bro, and really show who he is. And I know sometimes, like, you can get people over in a loss, and you can get people over just by showing how dominant they are. I think you have the opportunity to do something special because I can still count on one hand how many people Cody Rhodes has lost to since he got back to WWE. On one hand, I can still count it. I think it's perfectly okay if just this once, and even if it's not clean, by the way, if that's what niggas are worried about. Even if it's not clean, I think just this once, you do something special, and you open up the door for something later on down the line. Cody Rhodes is still into it with Drew McIntyre. You can have Drew McIntyre cost him the match, if it got to come to that. But Obafemi winning, to me, unlocks so much and shows your main roster audience so much, bro. I think you have to do it. I think you should do it. So with that said, we're going to start off our predictions here. I have Obafemi putting on an absolute clinic and beating Cody Rhodes.
Oh, give me Oba.
In our next exhibition match, we have Bayley versus the former Women's North American Champion of NXT and perhaps one of the greatest finishers in wrestling right now, Sol Ruka. Because Bayley's very unselfish, I'm willing to roll with Sol Ruka here.
Ooh, I think this is Bayley's W. I think you got a lot going on with Sol and Zarya. I feel like that could come into hand with this. I'm taking Bayley for the W because also Bayley deserves this. They've been kind of doing Bayley dirty kind of lately, so I think she deserves like a good W on a big show. So I'm gonna take Bayley on this one.
That's fair. In what I presume will be our final showcase, unless a Hail Mary is thrown on SmackDown this week, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus Leon Slater from TNA and Jay Von Evans, the young OG, for the World Tag Team Championships. Well, I do love, African American wrestling hoops, brother. We gotta go with the old man and Dragon Lee here, man. I got AJ and Dragon Lee entertaining in what will probably be the second best match of the night because I feel like the GOAT gonna shine. But I got AJ and Dragon Lee here, man, and what will be an entertaining clinic and what I hope is a tag team wrestling classic.
I do have AJ and Dragon Lee winning this match, but this is the match of the night. I'm sorry. You heard it here first. Clinic is on the way. 5-star classic is on the way. Let these young brothers cook. This is going to be the best match tonight. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. It's going to be the best match of the night. I'm sorry.
Let's set the stage, man. This is the last one. Let's go big or go home. In 2002, man, a plucky guy in some colorful trunks walked up to Kurt Angle and told him the one quality he possesses is ruthless aggression. In 2005, he finally climbed the mountaintop and became WWE champion. And he ain't looked back since, man. He became the franchise. He became the Never Seen 17. He became the greatest of all time. Became our hero. The leader of the Chain Gang. The leader of the C Nation. And here we are, December 13th, 2025, on the last night of John Cena's career, facing possibly the greatest obstacle he has ever faced. Facing someone who doesn't consider themselves a sports entertainer, but a professional wrestler. To someone who the mat is sacred. Someone with a million finishing moves and you never know what he's going to hit you with. Someone who is a dream killer. We have, for the first and last time ever at Saturday night's main event, in the main event, John Cena versus the Ring General Gunther. Who you got?
I can see it now. 20-minute classic. Fight forever. Fight forever. Cena looks down. Out of nowhere, here come the brass knuckles. Smack in the face. Not the AA. The FU on commentary. Middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3, and your winner, the greatest of all time, John Cena. Psych, I lied. Give me the ring, General. I'm just playing. I still got John winning the match. I don't want to do that for dramatic effects, but yeah. Give me John Cena with the FU.
Well,
OG FU.
Be honest with you. Heard what Gunther said Friday. Heard what Gunther said Monday. I'm terrified. Because Gunther's clearly on a mission. He's clearly on a mission to make sure John Cena doesn't go out the way that we all remember him. He's clearly on a mission to make sure John Cena taps out. He's clearly on a mission to make sure John Cena is made to be a quitter on his very last night. But for 20 plus years, a wise man once told me 3 words. Never give up. In the face of being wrong, in the face of whatever, I'm rolling with the GOAT one last time, bro. I'm rolling with a signature John Cena performance to pull it out one last time. And I'm rolling with the fact that Gunther got to live with the fact that he couldn't retire old man John Cena. Give me the never seen 17 going out on top December 13th. But yeah, man. Great show. Nothing but John Cena today. You know, a little bit of other stuff. When we get back here next week, unfortunately, John Cena will be retired. And we will talk about Saturday night's main event, obviously, and the exhibition matches. And we will talk about whatever John Cena and Gunther is, which I firmly expect to be a classic. Yeah, man. This is a great episode, bro. Dedicated to the GOAT, for the GOAT. I cannot stress how much like John Cena has meant to my wrestling fandom, bro. And I don't want to get emotional about it now because I know I'm gonna be emotional about it on Saturday, but like I cannot stress what he has meant to my fandom. In 2005, I started watching, and you know, wrestling obviously has larger than life characters. I was able to get into it a little bit before Eddie passed, and Rey Mysterio and Undertaker and Randy, Batista, and all that. But nobody quite captivated me and like stuck with me and resonated with me like John Cena did, bro. So I want to take this time in the show before we close to just say thank you, John Cena, for everything you have done for the business. Thank you for doing things that you didn't necessarily have to. Thank you for doing things that you probably didn't want to. I know there were times in like interviews and promos, and he said like he's missed birthdays, weddings, funerals for like kids like me that were in that audience one night. Grown-ups that was in the audience for that night. You know what I'm saying? People who are 20-somethings now or early 30-somethings, whatever. He missed all of that to entertain all of us. And if anyone has earned the right to, and I know he says it's not necessarily on his terms, but if anyone has earned the right to have, let's just say, if anyone has earned the right to have a retirement tour and have a year where he is celebrated and just soak up those moments, it's John Cena, bro. There will never be another, and that's not hyperbole. That is a one of none man, superstar, wrestler, all of that. There will never be another. So I just wanted to take this time before we close to say thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, John. Again, episode is dedicated to you. Episode 27 will be the Saturday night's main event review. The final review of a John Cena match that we will probably ever have. Yeah, man. This has been episode 26 of the Off the Top Rope podcast. You may not be able to see us until episode 27. We appreciate you. Thank you, John Cena. We love you.
Peace.
Peace.